I grew up in quite a rural area, and access to services is pretty abysmal in Kent. I mean, it's quite a big area, like geographically. So trying to get to a centre, if you're trying to get to a youth club, if you're a young person, you don't drive, the bus links aren't great, the rail links aren't great. If you're out in the sticks, you know, forget about it.
London, for me, it's the place that people come to kind of feel more accepted, and being the older end of a young person and going out, you see that a lot of people have come from smaller areas to be LGBTQ in London. So I get the impression that this is probably the best place to be different. It's like a real melting pot.
There needs to be more awareness in like places like quite rural, I think, because all the prides are in places quite central, like Brighton and London and Manchester and Leeds. There needs to sort of like be something out there for the rural people, because there's lots of gays, you know, outside in the countryside.
There is maybe not an acceptance that LGBTQ young people actually do form part of the rural community.
There are areas where it's quite obvious that there's a big gay community. London's got a big one, Brighton is well known for it. Somebody said that Margate, which is in this area, was now becoming more, and I hope it does, because then there'll be more people in Kent that will have to sort of change their minds, if you want.
I think there needs to be some form of kind of outreach work for LGBT that are in these rural locations.
There has to be some kind of a change in priorities around funding and also commissioning work, so that the needs of LGBTQ young people are actually taken into account in the areas where they live.
I even tried to set up an LGBT youth group in Sheerness, and I had loads of people, I had loads of volunteers, but we just didn't have the resources.
Out in the rural areas, there was not much stuff for youngsters anyhow. You know, regardless, you know, they had to travel or there wasn't anything in the village.
It's stuck in its own time, it needs to move forward.
At Kent, there's nothing going on really, it's Sittingbourne much.
For youngsters that feel that they're different from everybody else, that must be even more isolating. So I don't think there's enough anywhere, but I think it must be so much harder for LGBTQ youngsters if they are in a smaller community.
We're not that far from London, but when it comes to LGBT, we're a million miles apart. We need to catch up. We've done it once. We've proven that Kent can do it. Let's keep it going.
I think it's basically opened our eyes up to what we should be doing instead of hiding away from it.